Hello everyone and welcome back for another Star Trek Discovery, the official Starships collection review. This time in front of me I have issue number 4, the Klingon bird of prey as seen on the show of the same name, Star Trek Discovery. And as you can see, there's a box and the magazine is inside, so I'm going to open that up real quick and show you the magazine, and then after that we will jump right on to the ship itself. Okay, so here we are, issue number 4, the Klingon bird of prey seen on Star Trek Discovery. And as you can see, the magazine pretty nice and glossy there, with images of the ship there, as well as some information down here. It is considered a warship, of course, in the 23rd century, and it is 188.7 meters long. Turn the page, and so far this follows the same format as all of the other magazines in the collection, and just like the regular Starships collection, shows you how to mount it to the stand, and more information here, which is basically some of a recap of the front. Considered a warship affiliated by the Klingon Empire in the 23rd century, and as I said, 188.7 meters long approximately. Turn the page and you have some rather different views of the ship there, as well as some text about it, and more on that. Very interesting, strange design. Quite honestly, it's very different from what we're used to. And then you have more text there, and then you turn the page, and here's the design process of this Klingon bird of prey. This section basically talks about how they tried to use what came before and change things up and makes things different and more alien, etc., etc., etc. And more on that with some various conceptual artwork there, which is always nice to see. And here's a nice big splash page showing you the ship in close-up detail, which is very nice. And finally, you end the magazine with the ending of the article. And looks like this month, in the month of August, issue number 5 should be the USS Europa, which I was fortunate to see at the Star Trek convention in Las Vegas this past weekend. So that was pretty cool, and I look forward to actually receiving that. So that concludes the magazine, of course, with the Star Trek Discovery logo and the ship there, or an image of the ship there. And now let's get on to the model itself. All right, so here is the model itself, the Klingon bird of prey. I must admit, to be quite honest with you, that I was not looking forward to this one at all. I guess I'm just one of those old farts, or one of those people who, I'm not really old, but I guess I'm just one of those people who like stuff that came before, but I'm trying to have a little bit more of an open mind as it pertains to Star Trek Discovery. This is definitely a very alien looking design, and judging by the color scheme, it looks more Romulan than Klingon, but I can definitely see the Klingon influences, like the turrets there on the head, and definitely has some Klingon influences, but the way the wings are spread out like this, it looks very much like a Romulan design. It's a very interesting looking design. It looks like a cross between Ridley Scott's Alien mixed in with some Gothic architecture, and of course with some little Klingon influences thrown in there for good luck. As far as the model is concerned, it's pretty cool and very detailed. The paint looks like it's been weathered, which is nice. Unfortunately, no symbols of the Empire here, which is a bit of a bummer. The majority of it is metal, so this is all metal. And the head has got some plastic components, but pretty much it's all metal. Down there you got a little bit of blue, and this is painted blue, so there's no clear plastic for any engine components or anything like that. It's a very weird, strange design, and I suppose it's in the show like this, that configuration looks pretty familiar to Star Trek fans because that's how the normal Klingon bird of prey looks, or as the Klingon bird of prey would eventually look. I guess if that's we should call it that, right? It's definitely very different. This is the first Klingon ship of the Star Trek Discovery Starships collection. So it's kind of nice to get something different other than the Federation starships. But this is definitely a strange design. The model itself is fantastic, and despite it being mostly metal, it doesn't weigh all that much. It's pretty cool. Looking at it now that I have the model in hand, I guess I like it a little bit more, but I guess I'm just not entirely convinced that this is Klingon. Now, if this were a Klingon ship that belonged to like maybe a minority race of Klingons that we've never seen before, or something like that, then that's a whole other story, and I would love to see the show actually explain some of these things to make things, better. I don't want it to be a case of, oh, this is Klingon and this is how it's always been and you should accept it. No, it should be a case of this is an addition to the Klingons that we already know and love, and this is something that we've never seen before and adds a whole other level of awesomeness to the Klingon culture and the Klingon race as a whole. So anyway, if you're a fan of Star Trek Discovery, I would definitely go and pick this model up. If you're a fan of Klingons or all things Klingon, then this is definitely for you. If you're anti-Star Trek Discovery and everything it represents, then please avoid this like the plague. If you're just cherry picking and only getting the Starfleet ships of this collection, then this is one to skip. If you're a completist, of course, get your hands on it as well. I would recommend it for Star Trek Discovery fans, especially. It is a solid model. Aside from any hull markings or anything that would tell me this is Klingon, I would not be able to tell you it was Klingon. I would not be able to tell you it's Klingon. I guess what I'm trying to say is, if you had showed me this ship before Star Trek Discovery even was thought of or on the air, I would definitely not think it's Klingon. I would think it's more like something from the Alien franchise, like the space jockeys or the engineers, as opposed to being Klingon. And so I guess it would have been nice to have like the Klingon Empire symbol on here, just to make it a little bit more authentically Klingon. Just a little something extra. So that'd be kind of nice. But alas, it is a pretty solid model for what it is. And now I'm going to shut up and show you what it looks like on the stand. And if you have any questions or comments, please feel free to drop them below. I'll do my best to answer you in a timely fashion. And thank you so much for watching. And until next time, live long and prosper. And Kapa.
Thank you.